and welcome back to Tales of Iron. So I actually had a video glitch in the last round, and I had done a good 20 minutes of the DLC, Bright Fir Forest, before I realized that the video was not working correctly. So unfortunately we're not going to have some of that in the video, but once I do this little side quests here, we'll go back and continue on with where I picked up, and I'll explain what I did when I get there. The audio is barely working and the game got really framey, unfortunately. So I went to restart it and lost the video recording. I am still missing a few armor and weapons from the base game, unfortunately. It's the only trophy I'm missing. And it may be there. I'm unable to get there because some moles are blocking my path.
When Reggie first arrived at the mine, he found a rat miner arguing with Seb the engineer. The mole wanted to head down into the mines to fix the tram, but the rat refused to let him enter for fear of the Stalker Queen. Reggie told the miner he would personally take Seb to the tram to repair it. Traversing the mine was hard work. The Stalker Queen had been busy. Her offspring had spread to every corner. Seb was not used to this much fighting, and was glad to have Reggie by his side.
Oh, good. You guys have left. There were moles blocking this way before. And there we go. Reggie's Armory. So with that, we have completed our trophy for the last missing one and got our platinum. King of Kings. So I guess I can call this a 100% trophy playthrough now. flashlight time.
Fighting next to Seb brought back bittersweet memories for Reggie. He was determined Seb would not suffer the same fate as his old friend. The Stalker Queen and a fresh brood of eggs. Reggie supposed this was a good reason for the tramp being late.
Wow, that's cool. Pretty weak though. Shot him in the bum.
Together, Rat and Mole felled the Stalker Queen. Seb swore to get the tram working again single paw, in thanks for Reggie's help. Reggie was just happy to have made a new mole friend.
Alright, let's go save another bard or musician.
Amy was waiting with Rex. She'd remembered what they'd been looking for in the crypts. The Book of Immortal Song. Maybe Chetty Mercury was still searching the Hall of Books. The dream of music that lasts forever was worth the risk to these talented young bards.
Alright, where's this one?
Pages from music books littered the ground, perhaps dropped in a hurry. Chetty must be near. But what had made this brave bard run?
Alright, so I'm going toward the poison area. I don't know, maybe because it's late game with this stuff, or post game. Everything's pretty weak. There we go. Where you going, dude?
Reggie glimpsed Chetty running deeper into the crypts. Something had scared him. Something lurking in the shadows.
That guy is annoying. Oh, come on.
Reggie caught up with the lost musician, but Chetty wasn't leaving without the Book of Immortal Song. Reggie had little choice but to help the bard. As soon as Reggie set paw in the Hall of Books, he knew something was wrong. Something in the shadows, quieter than a mouse. It was Fang Bu, an infamous warlord known for his brutality with a halberd.
What was that? That's cool.
Fang Bu finally laid to rest, Chetty scooped up pages of the Book of Immortal Song. With a nod of thanks to Reggie, he scurried towards the surface. After all they'd been through, Reggie hoped the young bards gave a historic performance.
This is where I wish a fast travel was possible. Where am I going? Alright, I have to go up, then right. Right? Nope, the left. So confusing. Alright. Watch us have to go back down to the crypt again after going all the way here. god, again, in the crypt.
If any more bards went missing, the Crimson Keep would fall silent. Reggie needed to speak to Rex and the other bards.
This is way too repetitive here. Is this a DLC? Because it's kind of garbage if it was.
The bards explained that Johnny Nasher had gone into the crypts to buy tobacco from Bertle the Turtle. There have been no sign or sight of either of them since.
Trying to buy some hashish from a turtle in the crypts. Musicians. Alright, where are you? Really? That's a long way to go. That's all the way to where the turtle was.
The bard's pipe and tobacco pouch. Johnny would never have left them on purpose.
That's because Johnny's addicted. Another shield guy. Brutalized. Does this mean I'm gonna have to go all the way back? Stop it. Stupid rat. So why can't I hit them?
As Reggie felled the last of the undead, Bertle appeared, calling for help. A young rat was under attack. Reggie and Bertle rushed to his homestead.
Turtles don't rush.
Not a horde, but Crocus Khan. This fearsome Toad King rode his lizard steed
Genghis
into
Khan?
many a battle, but this would be his last. It's rumored that 1 in 8 frogs can trace their lineage to the great crocus. But this old toad would sire no more. With Crocus defeated, Johnny and Bertle thanked Reggie for his help. Reggie hoped in the future they would find safer and less pungent places to trade.
There's no way to get back. That's lame. Remember that exciting YouTube video where you watch someone just run for 10 minutes? Here you go. Now we've already platinumed the main game. This is just the DLC. Or updates, I don't even know if they're DLC, but the updates that were available in this version. Got any more of these? Music guys? Oh, looks like it. I was hoping to get back to the squirrel area this episode.
Rex had asked the king to meet the bards in the cellar. He had a grand vision for the Crimson Keep's dark storeroom. Rex's plan was to convert the dank cellar into a bustling pub, if some rat could gather the materials. Reggie was happy to find what they needed. If for no other reason, then it may stop so many bards disappearing into the crypts. The trader was relieved to hear the bards had a trade to fall back on for when this musician fantasy inevitably failed, so he offered a good price. Having the necessary materials, Reggie handed them over to Rex and the bards. Reggie wondered if they had even a basic understanding of construction. Reggie could see
King's
himself
Tail
spending
Tavern.
many a night in the King's Tail, basking in the music, sipping red berry wine, and regaling the rat folk with tales of his battles, whether they wanted to be regaled or not.
This rat's got a man cave in the basement of his castle. Alright, let's go back to the squirrels already. I think we finished most of the side quests around the castle. I did just get a trophy for sitting in the chair in my basement pub. Alright, let's go back to Bright Fir Forest. Now, what happened last time, because I had an issue with my video, is you come over here, you have a little party, you meet some squirrels, and then you go do a series of things for them. So you come down here, fight a guy, come back, start the party, and then a guy during the party breaks a table with a bunch of glasses on it, and now you got to go down here to get what he broke for the party. So I'm going to come down here, I'm going to go down this way, and go get the next part of that mission, which is first sap, because he knocked it over, and then we'll continue from there. So it is only about 10-15 minutes that I lost in the video. You do get a trophy, I believe, from it. These guys want a wheel, which I haven't been able to find yet. And there's only 5 trophies for the Bright Fir missions.
In the maze of bright fir roots, the spores were so thick Reggie had to wear his gas mask. Was this infestation the reason the bright firs were dying?
Alright, so that's going to take us back up. So we'll just go down here. This may be a big boss fight, because the last trophy I have is to fight the boss.
The tapped root stood before him, but the root looked damaged. Before Reggie could wonder what had done this, he got his answer. A root worm, bloated and enraged by bright sap.
Another sandworm from Dune.
Had been banished from these parts for generations. Reggie had a feeling its presence meant something was rotten in the state of Bright Fir. To Reggie's dismay, the tap was broken. Reggie did not look forward to returning to the Squirrel Elder with no sacred sap and news of root worms.
Right, so this is where the party happened. There's a table over here that a guy knocked over
Though
with
shocked
the
at the
sap.
news, the squirrel elder had an idea. The tap was one of several made in the basement woodsmith workshop of Castle Dray. Perhaps Reggie could look there.
Keep my eye open for the wheel for those squirrels.
Approaching the ruins of Castle Dray, Reggie's whiskers twitched at the familiar stench on the breeze. He refused to believe it, after all he'd done to be rid of them. It could not be. The frog scourge had returned, a pestilence on the sacred forest that could not be allowed to spread. A slapping of webbed feet from the basement. More pond filth waited below, and would soon feel his blade. The frog squatter was none other than General Hack-Hack, no better than a common thief looting supplies. The only thing he'd be taking today was his last breath. The satisfaction of the frog general dead at his paws, Reggie found the replacement tap. The squirrels would have their sacred sap.
Found a replacement wheel too for the squirrels. Alright, so that's closed. I'm guessing that's where the final boss of this additional area is.
Reggie was surprised to find a mole in Bright Fir Forest. The mole was embarrassed. He'd got lost going from Station C-19 to Station 24/7. Reggie sympathized. Those tunnels were a tough route. Lost he may have been, but still enterprising. The mole had armor for sale, if the king had the coin. The mole had heard of this king of rats who traveled the underground, but never believed it was true. Perhaps Reggie knew the tunnels well enough to give him directions. The king barely noticed the journey back to the Bright Fir, dwelling as he was on the return of frog spawn to the ratdom. Where there's a general, an army must be close by. Reggie handed over the tap, but wished he could spare the old squirrel the pain of hearing frogs were in Castle Dray. The Squirrel Elder could not allow the festival to continue, knowing pond scum squatted in their ancestral home. Reggie did not need to be asked. He knew what needed to be done. Reggie could not believe the frogs had returned after all he had done to be rid of them. Pond scum never learn.
Just go give that wheel to those squirrels first. So I think we're about to finish this up. Don't think there's anything left to do after this boss coming up.
With the new wheel in paw, the wagon would be on its way. Reggie assured them they'd not missed the festival as there'd been a few minor delays. As Reggie made his way towards the ruins of Castle Dre, the stench of pond scum once again drifted in on the cool breeze. The familiar scent made him wonder why the frogs had suddenly reappeared in the ratdom. He'd heard tales of the great Castle Dre from his father's whiskers, but it was hard to believe this mushroom-pocked ruin was ever that once proud place. The evil frog spawn had been looting. These frogs believed they could make the central tower a new base, but Reggie would show just how wrong they were.
Alright. Let's get into
The
this.
central tower. Whoever was collecting all these supplies would surely be at the top. The young king had thought his lust for revenge was sated, but he would not be satisfied until every frog in his kingdom had croaked their last.
Just check down here first. See what's down here.
A strange crunch beneath his paws. Reggie looked down to see seeds on the floor. Jars of golden bright fir seeds were all around, enough to plant 100 forests. Reggie wondered if the Squirrel Elder knew they were here.
Alright, let's go up top, see what we're about to fight.
Seems he wasn't the only one here for vengeance.
Shielded Maiden.
Shield Maiden Yellowtongue was waiting, screaming the name of her fallen brother, War Chief Greenwort.
Gotcha.
The fading echoes of her last croak, Castle Dre was returned to peace. There was a shrine in the room, carved figures of Reggie and his enemies in Bright Fir Forest. The frogs had planned it all to lure him here. The squirrels at the Bright Fir rejoiced to hear Castle Dre was back to its somber state of peace once more. The Squirrel Elder could start the Leaf Fall Festival at last. Reggie basked in the joy of the squirrel folk, as warming as the golden light of the firs. He reclined in his chair and was honored with a cup of bright sap. Being king has its perks.
And there we go. So we have beaten the entire game, got our platinum, and we've also finished the Bright Forest Squirrel DLC and all those trophies, 5 to come. The only thing we didn't end up doing was the Blood Whisker trophy. And that's because to do that you have to beat the entire game over on Bloody Whisker difficulty. Which obviously we're not going to do a full series of that. Don't know if I will or not. I think I'm going to move on and start to play Tales of Iron 2 after this. So I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. It's a pretty easy game. It's alright. It's nowhere near, I think, the quality of some other games like this. I think where it survives is just the art direction, the story, the narration by the voice of Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher. and some okay combat. I did find some of the combat a little questionable. The jumping I really didn't like, and there is just a sense of delay. I feel like the input delay is pretty hard to get a handle of, and didn't feel that great. But hopefully they fixed it or improved it a bit in the second game. We will find out soon. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed.